Hello everybody, welcome to Tokobot. This is perhaps the most hotly awaited video, at least for me. I have been really looking forward to making this video and now it's finally happening. I was waiting for the right moment and it feels like the right moment is here, mostly because it's almost the end of the year and if I don't record it before Christmas, I might not have time at all to sit down for 2 hours and record my favorite game. So what is Tokobot Plus? Tokobot Plus is a remake or like port, but like with updated stuff of a game called Tokobot. You play as Bolt, this little green guy, and yes, he is a guy, which is something that as a kid I thought Bolt was a girl for the longest time, which is actually kind of interesting to see in some of the concept art for the game. There were designs of Bolt where he was at least more feminine looking, most likely intended at that point to be female. But yeah, you play as Bolt, you got these little robots that follow you around, and they are so-called Tokobots. You have various different ways to command them. People have compared the game to Pikmin. I'm not sure I would really liken it to Pikmin at all. It's a sort of distinctly different game in my opinion, in that this isn't real-time strategy like how Pikmin is. This is a puzzle platformer is the only real accurate way to describe it. But man, it feels so good to be playing this game again. I haven't played it in ages. Like, the speedrun is primarily what I have such an affiliation for, but even just the game in general is extremely fun. The world is so interesting, and we'll have plenty of time to talk about that in this video. But you know, that speedrun that I have world record for, the full game category of Tokobot, it is hard. Like, that's not an easy record to get, and I don't mean that to sort of gloat, just purely as an explanation of why I haven't played the game in so long. After I you know, quit playing it for a bit, like I just was doing other things. I was playing SI and stuff like that. After I kind of stopped playing this game for a little bit, it was hard to get back into. I'm not gonna do all the speedrun strats in this video, but I will show off some of the best ones because I think it's cool. But if you want to see all of the speedrun strats kind of put into practice, then you can go check out my main channel where I have the world record video uploaded there. And it is pretty cool. But yeah, like, that world record, it's hard to do. And one of the main tricks, which I'll explain later, you can just soft lock the game every time you go for it. Like, it's consistent, but it's hard. And if you do soft lock the game, that's it. It takes too long to save the game, and you lose too much time by reloading the game, that even if you could save the game, it wouldn't be worth it to do. But this is great. We get our first boss fight. This is actually not in the any percent run. We completely skipped this fight, but it is a cool one. We get to fight Taji. He is also, so we are like, we control the robot. The Tokobots. Taji is also gifted in commanding robots, but his robot is this Scorpio guy. So he's a little bit different. We control these 6 robots, which make up the like, each of the Tokobots are individually different robots, but you can only really harness their full power if you have all of them. So they're kind of parts of a larger whole is probably the best way to describe the Tokobots. But since I'm going to be skipping much of the story, I thought it would be a good idea to sort of introduce some of the concepts at play here. So Bolt wants to be a treasure master. His father was a treasure master. And what treasure masters do is they explore the ruins and they find treasure, right? That's like their money-making scheme is they find treasure in these ruins, and that's overall basically what he does. But he had this sort of lucky encounter. I think I don't need to flip both, but I could be completely wrong. I'll be interested to find out if I can make this or not. I would have known this back in the day. That's the thing. I've kind of fallen off in my Tokobot knowledge. It's gotten quite a bit worse. But clearly I can't make it up there, so I should have known. But yeah, he had an encounter with these Tokobots, and they chose him. They were like, yeah, this guy's sick. Let's let's help him out. And so he kind of goes around with these Tokobots. There is like an ancient century very long ago where all of this technology is made, and they're not really sure how to replicate it exactly. So the Tokobots are kind of like a one-of-a-kind thing. They can't make another Tokobot, right? Like, the Tokobots that are there are all we're getting. So that is kind of interesting. And let me just summon these guys over here. If the Tokobots get too far away from you, you can just teleport them to you. If there's a lore explanation for that, I don't really know what it is. But it is kind of interesting, I will say. That they seemingly have the power to teleport to their user. But yeah, so they don't have the power to replicate this technology, so the Tokobots that exist now are all the Tokobots they're getting, and they're also magnetic, and you can make bridges, which is one of the cooler features in this game about the Tokobots, is there's a bunch of like magnets and stuff that you can attach yourself to. Coming up next, we have a very cool boss fight that comes up more than once in the run, but it's not like Mario Sunshine levels of boss reusing. There's just a boss rush at the end of the game that we have to do, so that's all it is. But I really like the designs of the world, just how everything's kind of... It's clearly electrical, but it's more in like a, oh, this is a stone that carries current. And I know that iron is a stone that carries current, but it feels a lot less manufactured, I guess. It feels like, these things weren't made by electricians. They were made by like stonemasons or whatever, right? That's kind of what it seems like. But yeah, this boss fight, you just hit it 3 times and then it goes into the pissy boss phase. It's Morphbot or Morphobot, so obviously it morphs. And it gets tired, and then we just whack it a couple times. And it's pretty relaxed, honestly. I do seem to remember having a strategy for this boss fight that involves like going in a corner or something. But the speedrun actually skips this boss, so I don't really remember what it was. I think, yeah, you go here, and then he can't hit you, and he just keeps going towards you. Pretty cool. You'll notice that if I don't want to do it because it'll waste time, but your attacks do varying amounts of damage, and by far the strongest attack in your normal kit is the square attack. So you have different joint formations. So you can joint in a straight line by pressing square. You can joint in, well, I guess another straight line, but on either side of Bolt, by pressing triangle. And circle puts them in a circle around you, which is pretty neat. And yeah, when you're jointing in those different formations, you have different attacks. Usually the best one for most fights is just to use the line formation. But there we go, we're basically done with chapter 1 now, which is pretty sick. Because we get to this mono choo-choo rail, but we don't have the mono choo-choo. So we can't advance any further. So we return to the lab. And so coming up in chapter 2, there's actually a really big skip that I'm not going to do. I'm going to play out chapter 2 like normal. And that's basically because I'm not confident enough in my ability to do it after all this time of not doing it. But what I will say is, there is a skip in chapter 3 that I'll be doing because I think it saves basically a lot of faffing around, which is the main part. Because they all save a bunch of time, but that one saves like the most faff. And so I'll have to save the game just in case. But yeah, kind of interesting thing about this is I still have one of my baby save files of this game from 2014. It's not my original save file, or it might be my original, but it's not my... I did get to at least chapter 7, and I believe I got to chapter 8 in this game when I was a kid, but I never beat the game. And I know I never beat the game because I distinctly remember not being able to find all of the tablets. Because this game is very linear up until chapter 8, where it becomes like, oh, go look around for all these tablets, and I never was able to find them, which is a shame because chapter 8 is actually the penultimate chapter. And depending on, you know, various things, it could even be the shortest chapter because you can get a lot of those tablets before chapter 8 even happens. Like, you don't need to get them in chapter 8, I guess, is the main point. There's a lot of them that you can get earlier if you're looking around for them. And actually in this room, so I made a Twitter account for Tokobot Plus called @TokobotGame, and in this room I took a screenshot of it for the very first post, and I was like, look at this, isn't it weird that the color is an O, even though I'm playing the European release. It's not that weird, they just didn't look like, it's just the same as the American release. They did add more languages though in the European release. You've got there's like Spanish and French and stuff. I think there's German as well, which actually makes it the most it's the largest version of the game. If you rip it, it has the most gigabytes because of presumably because of the language stuff. There's no dub, I believe, for different like languages. It is just the subtitles, but there is a somewhat noticeable difference in the file size from what I remember. I believe the Japanese one's the smallest, but I don't actually have an American copy of the game, so I've never ripped the American copy. I know a lot of people just download their ROMs off the internet, but this is the one game for which I have never pirated it. I have just ripped it from my own discs because it's really easy on a PS2 to rip. See, I messed up that as well. I'm such a noob these days. Because you can do this, and if you time it for when the invincibility runs out, you hit them instantly. But if you time it wrong, you miss, and if you're too late, your Tokobots get hit. Now the Tokobots can't die, but if they get hit, they just kind of, you know, get knocked back, and you can't use them for a little while. It would be sad if the Tokobots die, but let me tell you a story. Well, not a story. Let me just tell you about the lore of the game, I guess. The Tokobots actually... there was this character called Arya, who we'll see shortly in what I've been calling the Blue Rooms. But basically, we're about to unlock something quite soon, which is guarded by Arya, who is a character... Arya's mother or something was the creator of the Tokobots, and Arya kind of lives on in the ruins as her heart was used to make the Tokobot. I don't think literally her like physical heart is inside the Tokobots, but the idea was that they wanted the Tokobot to only serve someone who was pure of heart. We've heard this all before. in other stories, right? Like, it's the most kind of typical story ever. Bolt is pure of heart, so he can wield the Tokubots, whatever. But their method for achieving that, I guess the only way to check if someone's pure of heart was to put Arya's heart in the Tokubots, and she's kind of preserved in her childlike form from when she was essentially turned into the Tokubot. So you get to see Arya here for the first time.
The one who controls Karakuri.
That's
What's wrong?
That's her there. Kind of interesting. Tokubot is the name that we have given to the or that like Bolt has given to the Tokubot, but strictly speaking, they're just Karakuri, which is the generic name for the like old style robots. I'm messing this boss fight up like a lot. You can do this much faster. You're supposed to bait out that swing and then hit him from behind, but if you just stand like under him slightly, you can keep hitting him a lot faster than this. But apparently I don't have the skill anymore, so whatever. We'll just play by the rules. But you can do that a lot faster. But there we go. I think, yeah, you're supposed to go parallel to him. That's what I was doing wrong. Whatever, it's fine. Or perpendicular. Perpendicular to the direction he's facing is what you're meant to do. In any case, Arya's heart was used to create the Tokubots, and so she's preserved in this kind of blue ether as sort of like as a child, and it's actually kind of a sad and a little bit dark part of the Tokubot story. But I do find it quite an appealing story. And one idea I had for a potential sequel to Tokubot is to have it ends with Bolt having to give up the Tokubots in order to kind of free Arya's spirit, because I do think it kind of sucks. I mean, speculatively, I do think it kind of sucks to be preserved in this like eternal child form in this blue ether where like I don't think people get to speak to her often, you know, like that's not a it's kind of like Bolt was the first one in a long time, so I kind of think that would be a good ending for Tokubot 2. But is there a Tokubot 2? Well, the short answer is no, and the long answer is the first game did not sell very well. I have imported a lot of like promotional materials for Tokubot and Tokubot Plus, including like magazine snippings and stuff from Japan, and some from not Japan. Some of them are from like English advertisements as well, but they're largely from Japan because this game got more. I was gonna say it got more attention in Japan. It just got more marketing and stuff in Japan. But I actually have a poster, like a promotional poster, that literally says the first game did not sell as well as we thought it would. So, you know, knowing that, I'm willing to bet the same thing happened to Tokubot Plus. It just didn't sell that well, and they never decided to make another one. It is a shame, this game. This game, I absolutely adore this game. As a kid, I could not beat this game. I didn't really understand what I was meant to do, and actually, as an adult, I'm gonna have to check. I'm gonna have to check what I'm meant to do, because I do know I'm supposed to make a triangle. I don't remember what shape it's supposed to be. Okay, it's the bottom left, and then the bottom middle, and then the top right. Yeah. I've not done this. I've not done this in a long time. We skipped this puzzle in the any percent. But yeah, this puzzle I could not do as a kid. It was very frustrating for me, and it was actually my introduction to to Let's Plays, yeah. There was a YouTuber who did a walkthrough of this game, and I followed that to figure out how to do this puzzle. So shout out to that YouTuber. I wish I knew their name because I feel like kind of an asshole being like, yeah, shout out to this person, but I don't actually know who they are. But yeah, for me, that was my introduction to Let's Plays. I chipped my kneecap when in the summer of, God, when would it have been? I mean, I was like 7 or 8. I don't remember exactly what year it was, but I chipped my kneecap and I was stuck inside for an entire summer. It was the first day of summer, first day of not being in primary school anymore, and I fell off my bike and I chipped my knee, and I was basically not able to walk for the entire summer. And it sucked because I wasn't able to go outside, but it introduced me to Let's Plays kind of inadvertently, and that explains a lot of how we got to where we are today. But yeah, I ended up playing PS2 for a lot of that summer, and that involved playing this game. This was one of those games that I didn't give a lot of attention to when I first got it. My parents probably just got it like second hand somewhere, and they're like, oh, this game's cheap or whatever, like we can get this. And then I ended up playing it and getting to this point and not really knowing what to do. And so I was like, well, I wonder if I can look this up on the internet. So I went on my dad's laptop and I found this guy playing the game. And it was kind of amazing how quickly over the course of that summer I was just watching a bunch of Let's Play content. This was the time I was introduced to Minecraft. That makes me think I was 8 then, because it was 2011 when I started playing Minecraft. So I was probably 8, but yeah, this was like, I watched this guy's videos and I was like, oh my god, there's more people doing this. I found like Nintendo Capri Sun, the Runaway guys. I found like, I mean, if it was 2011, Captain Sparkles, Yogscast, and then like I can owe this game to me playing Minecraft, which is like, it's not that surprising of like a, like, it's not that surprising of a link. It's like, oh, you played one video game and you found out about another one. Like, that's not super surprising. But it's at least a little bit surprising that like this game that I liked as a kid, I spent so much time playing Minecraft, and I can owe much of that experience to Tokobot, because this was the game that I couldn't beat, you know? Like, Movie Game, I could beat Movie Game, you know? I don't know what other games I would have had on PS2 at that point. I guess, like, Jak and Daxter. I could beat all those games, but this game, the puzzles in this puzzle platformer were just too complicated. And now I think it's cool because it's kind of come full circle, because not only am I making a video on the game now where I'm kind of explaining a bunch of stuff, much in the way that a walkthrough would, but also, equally, I have made a speedrun guide for this game. Like, I made a tutorial for this game. That's what a walkthrough is. And so for me it's very cool seeing like, oh, you know, I've come all of that way since the first time that I played this game. And this is a puzzle where you're meant to go upstairs and put blocks down here to block the sight of the statues here, because if you get seen by the statues, you get sent down into the pit. But I'm too good for that, so I'm just gonna jump across the gaps. It is actually not easy to do this, but I found a strategy that makes it a lot easier, where if you get like, okay, I fucked up. So this is what happens when you fail. It is actually not easy to do, but I found a strategy that is quite good where if you walk completely along the edge of the walkway, they don't see you, and also you can jump across. If there's like a diagonal for you to cross, it's quite easy to just jump. But yeah, you can also walk kind of like parallel to this line, and if you get a very good angle, again, it's not easy, but as you see, got it there. And we just need to do it over here to get to the end of this. But the puzzle takes so long to do. This was actually the... Okay, I messed it up again. This was actually the first skip that I discovered in Tokobot history. And it's actually kind of funny, but this has been skipped as well. Like, you don't need to do this skip anymore. Which is good, because as you can see, it's not easy. This was one of the harder skips that I was doing. It's definitely not the hardest. If you want to know about the hardest, that would be the space jump. But space jump aside, this is probably the hardest trick that I was actually doing in runs, and I'm so glad that we've routed it out. But what we've replaced it with is the space jump. But the space jump saves a lot more time than this does. But if you want to know about the space jump, I'll explain it later once I've shown off the moon jump, which is what the moon jump was the original trick that I discovered for this game. Not the first one, but by far the most iconic one. And the space jump was just kind of taking that concept to the extreme, you know? Oh, this is so cool. I'm so happy to be playing this game. It really does, like, just make me happy. It's such a fun game. It's got such a cool world. Like, I don't know if you see what I mean, but like, I'm really interested in like the design of the magnets and stuff. They have a perpetual motion machine. In lore, there's an engine that makes infinite energy. It's just like, there's a guy in one of the kingdoms in the game that collects a bunch of like trinkets and stuff, which is cool, but those trinkets are all from like ancient history and they don't know what all of them are. There's one that's just like an egg timer, and I think that's so funny. It is kind of reminiscent of Pikmin in that way, where you have a lot of mundane objects, kind of like but yeah, I mean, look at this, right? This is one of the modern contemporary, I guess I should say. This is a contemporary robot that was made by people alive today, and you can see it's gas powered. Like, that's one of the big differences between this and the actual Karakuri, which were discovered in these temples and ruins and made hundreds of years, thousands of years? I don't remember exactly, but they were made so many years prior. Is they have that infinite energy engine, but they can't recreate it, and it uses some kind of like fictional magnet to do it. It's really kind of interesting, the lore. But I lied. There's not 6 Tokobots. There's 8. It's kind of interesting that you just unlock these so early into the game, and I will spoil it now. There are no more Tokobot after this. You just start off with 6 and get the other 2 later. I'm not really sure why we don't just start off with 8, or even like start off with 4, because you can do stuff with 4. 4 is the minimum you need to actually like do stuff. So we could start off with 4 and then get more with time, but no. That's not how it works. You start off with 6 and you get 2 more very early into the game. I mean, we're half an hour in it, and we get those extra 2 Tokobots, and that's it. That's the end of the new Tokobots, which I think is kind of funny that, like, you know, you expand your power in other ways. I think it's interesting that he found all the other Tokobots in one place, but these 2 were just randomly separated. And I would love to know the story behind that. I think that would be a really cool bit of Tokobot lore to find out. But there's so much Tokobot lore that I want to know, right? Like, there's so much of interest. Like, to me, someone who's like really into this game, there's so much of interest in this world that we didn't really get to hear about. But now we're on chapter 3 of 8. Nope, 3 of 9. So we're 33%, or not 33%. less than that. We're some amount of percent through the game, and you can kind of see how it's going. We're outside again, but very quickly we'll be in another ruin. But yeah, this is kind of like, I guess, the point where we start figuring out what's going on. So initially we were just on this expedition kind of looking for treasure, and then we're starting to uncover some of these like tablet things, and we're not really sure what they're used for. And then that Chokorok thing I was fighting were some evil, no good people from a different kingdom. I don't remember where they're from exactly. It might be Crankbelt Kingdom, because that's the only other kingdom we have the name of. I don't really remember, but the point is we've got these sort of no good evildoers who are trying to impede progress, and we're just kind of hanging out. We're just kind of hanging out. Oh yeah, we don't need to do this. Usually I wouldn't do this fight, but whatever. I've accidentally clicked on it, so we'll just go through with it. But yeah, you get these overdrives. The one I was doing earlier is Samurai Hover. Samurai Hover is the best one. There's even an extra one that was added in this game and is like a post-game inclusion, and it's still not as good as Samurai Hover. It's like meant to be a screen wipe, but it doesn't actually, like, it doesn't do rhino damage, you know what I mean? Like, it's not that good. And Samurai Hover just is massive single target damage, but it does it to more than one target. It has a narrower, like, what, I guess, it has a narrower AoE than other ones, but it doesn't really matter because we can still hit an entire room full of enemies with it by just placing them correctly. So you just got to be careful about that. But yeah, if you die in this game, you die in real life. No, that's a joke. If you die in this game, you have to reload your save file. You get booted back to the title screen. So hopefully I don't die on this fight because obviously I've not saved yet. I was kind of only planning to save at points where I know that I might die, which is one specific fight. The final boss fight is not trivial. It's not super difficult, but it is a non-trivial fight. For a while I used to get a health potion before the final boss fight just to ensure my runs didn't end there. And then one time I forgot to do it. And I saved so much time by not doing it that I couldn't really like get away with not doing it anymore, which is kind of funny. But yeah, there we go. We have that boss fight over with, and you know, not too much to worry about on that one. I wasn't really worried about dying, but it would suck if it did happen. We have another boss fight after this. I'm starting to notice now, as I'm playing through this game mostly casually in this video, just how dense this game is with its boss fights. There's like a lot of them. But it's fine, like whatever. A lot of the boss fights are quite short when you do the speedrun strats, because the way it works is after hitting them, they get invincibility, but the overdrives go through that invincibility. So I had specific patterns that I would use for certain rooms or boss fights. I don't remember them now, but my typical approach to the fights in general is just to hit them and then overdrive when possible. It's better to overdrive slightly after they become vulnerable again, because they do take less damage when they're invincible from overdrives. But it, as far as I remember, is not a significant difference, so we'll see. But here we've got our next Taji fight. Taji is cool. I like him. He's a cool character. He's kind of like an anti-hero. He's kind of like Shadow the Hedgehog, and his one has several different transformations, and you can kind of whack him over the head to damage him, but you don't need to. You can also hit him from behind, but he's kind of hard to hit while he's moving, so the typical way to do this fight is to bait that attack, and then hit him over the head. And then you can kind of go to the side and try to hit him after that. But yeah, he will block the attack. I mean, he seemed to stun for quite a while there. I didn't realize it was that long. But yeah, you just bait that attack and then hit him over the head, and that's basically how this fight goes. After he stops flashing, you can attack him with Samurai Hover to get... Okay, you still need to hit him from behind. I thought I would, but never mind. But yeah, you want to stand near him to bait it, because if you go too far away, he does that tail attack that we saw earlier, which is fine. You can dodge it, but it doesn't create a damage opportunity. Like, he doesn't stay down for long enough. But yeah, you can try and hit him while he's moving, but it's hard. And if I mess up again, I'm going to die, so... And then I'm gonna go behind and do Samurai Hover, and hopefully that just ends the fight. Yep, there we go. I'm clutching out these fights, man. I'm getting a bit too close for comfort on the deaths here. I think I still have... I still think that I have all the skill that I had when I was speedrunning this game every single day. But now that I'm not doing it anymore, I don't actually have those skills anymore. But it's fine. There's a... God, I'm stupid. Just give me the loaf of bread. There's a, I believe it's in this room. God, I don't remember what to do here. Oh, I think it's supposed to be left, left, right, right. So I messed that up. Because yeah, that makes both of them move. But this one only makes the right one move. Whatever. We got it. Not a super difficult puzzle to figure out, I must admit, but it's a little bit shameful that I didn't already know it, you know, off the top of my head. But yeah, there's like a couple rooms where there's these, like, I guess arenas where you fight a bunch of enemies. I used to have like specific patterns that I would do here that would clear them out as quickly as possible. I don't remember how to do that anymore, so I'm just gonna be kind of freestyling on it. Again, it is a kid's game, so it's not like hard, but it won't be as fast. And fast is fun. Oh, also something cool, if you spin around for too long, Bolt gets dizzy and falls over, which is kind of funny. Think that's long enough? I'm not sure. Let's try it. Yeah, there we go. He gets dizzy. Oh, but I didn't spin long enough for him to fall over, only for him to get dizzy. If you do spin for longer, he will fall over, which is pretty fun. Got to appreciate the whimsy in. But now we have Simon Says, so let's lock in. Red, blue, green, green, yellow, red, I believe. It's the same every time. Green, green, yellow, and red. Easy. They thought that would stop me. They really did. But, they don't call me a treasure master for nothing. Treasure master is my name on Google, after this game, obviously. And one time I was at a fast food restaurant. And you know how you use like an app to order at fast food restaurants? Because who can be bothered talking to people, right? But for what it's worth, I do think that cashiers actually prefer that you don't speak to them most of the time. But that's at least my experience from talking to people. But yeah, I was at like a fast food restaurant, and I ordered on the app, and I was logged in with my Google account. And when I picked up my food, they were like, "Oh, I love your name, by the way." And I was like, "Thanks," because like I picked my name, and I was like, you know, that's nice. And then I looked at the receipt and it said treasure because, you know, my Google account is Treasure Master after this game, where Bolt's a Treasure Master, right? And so I came out of that exchange thankfully not mentioning that my name's actually Lily. But I would have been so confused if they like referred to me by name there. I would have been so confused. So there's a funny story relating to this game, I guess. My name is not Treasure. There we go. That was easy. Actually, the I'm gonna say that's the only time you need the catapult. And it is. I was gonna say you could be able to skip it, but you can't skip it because you need to get this. And we cannot do the game without this next part here. This is the Toko glider. It allows you to glide. So now if I spin around, I fall slowly, which is the way that it should work. But you do need that upgrade to get it to work for you. I don't know why I went through there. I know that that's not what I need to do next. So I'm not really sure what I was doing over there. But yeah, this is where I'm going to do the big trick of the game. So I'm going to make a save point. You can see here my save file from 2014. And then my... this is a speedrun file from 2021, and this 30 hours file is my 100% file. So I guess I'm going to save over... I don't know, the 139 is the slowest one here. So I'll save over the 139. And there we go. So we have some save data now. I can safely go and try this speedrun trick that might soft lock the game. I have done this trick within the last 2 years. Because I think I made a Tokobot video in 2023. I don't remember. I have done this trick decently recently. Decently recently, that rhymes. That was pretty sick. Yeah, I'm not completely going into this with no knowledge, but what I just did was I opened the disc tray on my PlayStation 2. One of the cool quirks about this console is that if you open the disc tray, the game will continue to play. Most games, unless they have detection for it, will continue to play with whatever's in RAM. So usually there's like a level here, but because I have opened the disc tray, it can't load that level from the disc. And whenever you go out of bounds, that happens. You get to fly upwards endlessly as long as you're out of the bounds of the level. That's called a moon jump, because it resembles moon jump cheat codes from like Action Replay and stuff. So I messed up there. I didn't go far enough out of bounds with the jump, so I ended up going back in bounds. But we'll just unload that and go for another try. I didn't want to go too far with it either, because if I went too far I might have ended up stuck out of bounds, and that's why I say that it's very easy to soft lock when you're doing these tricks, because if you accidentally end up stuck, you know, out of bounds just flying into the sky, there's no way to recover from that. There's no way to go back down, basically. But there we go, we have landed out of bounds, and now I will... Oh, no. Hold on. We're good. We're good if I reacted quickly enough. So now we wait for the level to load while the game is paused. And because I reacted quickly enough, I ended up not soft locking, just dying, which is better. So yeah, this is kind of a difficult thing to wrap your head around if you've never seen anything like it, because there's a lot of rules to being placed out of bounds when you're playing this game, but the basic gist of it is staying out of bounds is bad, because if you never land on something, this happens. Yeah, I'm going to have to return to the title screen. I have accidentally gone too far and there's no way for me to get back up. So I'm just gonna have to return to the title screen now. Which kind of sucks because of how long it takes to load a save file, but it's honestly not that bad, you know, all things considered. So we can just go and load my save file, and then we're back to it, just like nothing ever happened. But yeah, it's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but basically being out of bounds for too long is bad, and putting the disc tray back in or taking it out again allows us to unload and reload specific zones that we want to. There's not a lot of applications for this in most levels, because most levels, there's no part of the level that you can unload, because there are a bunch of rooms tied together, and every room is a new loading screen. But there are two specific levels where this is useful, which is the level we're in now and Chapter 1. So those are the only times that we really get to use it. I didn't use it in Chapter 1 because I wanted to ease us into the game, but now I did want to show it off at some point. So there we go. I've properly landed. I'm going to stay jointed, because when you are jointed, you can't fall off of edges. So even if I did go too far in one direction, I'm not going to fall off, which is nice. And, well, I'm not sure what's happening right now, but I also can't see. Okay, here we go. So there is a trick that I want to do here, which I haven't done in a while. So I'm a little less familiar with this one. So I'm just going to try and eyeball it, basically, which is a terrible idea to do. Most of the time is a terrible idea to do. But there is an area over here somewhere where we want to get to, basically. It's got one of the tablet pieces that we're going to need later on. And if we do this now, we will be able to skip having to do a puzzle later on in the game. So hopefully I'll be able to land this trick. Oh, I think I got it. Okay, nice. So now we just need to get back in bounds, which actually can be a little awkward sometimes. But I believe if I jump sort of sideways over here, I should get back in bounds. There we go. And we get this tablet piece, which is very important, because usually you need to unlock something that we're not actually going to get. We need to unlock the wheel to get over to this area. As you can see, there's a bridge which is up here that we can actually get across. And the only way to do that is by unlocking a wheel, which I do not intend to unlock during this Let's Play. So pretty important that we pick that one up. And then there's also a way to skip the boss by doing the same trick. And I think I'm going to go for it. I was not sure if I wanted to show this boss off or not, or if I was just going to skip it. But the skip's quite cool, and it gives me an opportunity to explain something else about the game. And we will get to see the boss again, because there's a boss rush at the end of the game. So I think I'm going to do it. So we get to do basically the same moon jump again, but with a different destination. And that is the last time that I will do the disc tray thing in this video. That disc tray thing I referred to is called disc tray abuse, DTA. But don't abuse your disc tray, treat it nicely. If you're going to be opening it a bunch of times when you're speedrunning, you know, treat it nicely, because you don't want it to break on you. Absolutely not. So here we go. Gonna jump over here, fall down, land on the ground, close the disc tray, and I believe we just want to walk until we can't anymore and then jump forward. And then I believe we want to move slightly to the right here. while you're in this, like, moon jump... Oh, here we go. Yep, this is the boss fight arena, so we just need to land slightly outside of it. There we go. All right, we beat the boss. So to explain why that works, when we got close enough to the zone, we loaded in the boss. But the boss fight didn't start because we didn't hit the cutscene trigger. And then because I fell outside of the boss fight after that, it deloaded the boss, which said, oh, the boss is dead, trigger the cutscene. That's what I believe is happening. Obviously, we can't know for sure, but that's what I believe is happening. Chapter 4. That's what I believe is happening in the sort of internals of the game, I guess. And I'm very happy that I got that, because it's such a cool trick, right? You get to skip entire boss fights by doing that. There's some boss fights we skip by just not going to them, and there's a couple boss fights that we get to skip by doing that, and I do think it's the coolest thing that I've found in the speedrun. Almost every single skip has been found by me, but not all of them. Not all of them have been found by me, and I didn't get the option to go to the end of the level. Why is that? It's fine, there's an elevator to it that I believe should be working now. But I thought, I didn't activate the save point, did I? That'll be why. You have to actually talk to the save point. You can't just walk past it. That'll be why. But I believe I can actually use this elevator now, so it's not a big problem. Or this lift, I should say, rather. But yeah, originally when you come to this area, this is not working. But I think, yeah, now that we're revisiting Valvera Ruins, it does work. And so Chapter 4 also takes place in Valvera Ruins, but it takes place in a different part of Valvera Ruins, and it takes place in a part where we have not been able to find an out of bounds for. Well, technically I found an out of bounds for it, but it also soft locks the game 100% of the time, so that one's not very useful. But yeah, Valvera Ruins to Chapter 4. That is the one part of the game where if we found a, well, it's either that or the final level, Chapter 9. But a skip in either of those levels would save the most amount of time, because the only time we need to use the crane is in Chapter 4. So if we were able to skip that, we wouldn't need to get the crane at all. And that would probably save like 3 or 4 minutes. Like, it would save a significant amount of time, not including the time that it actually saves in the level. So it would save even more than that. That would be pushing the game to around like 120 as possible. Because right now the world record's like 135, something like that. Or 130, I don't remember. It's 130 something. But I mean, we can do better than that. That run doesn't use every trick that I knew about at the time, and it's also not the best run. It is good. It's a hard run to beat. I think if you were learning the game, if you were learning the game for the first time, it would take you a few months to be able to get a run that good. Like, it's not an insignificant amount of effort. But it's not close to like an ideal run or a perfect run, and I definitely think that I could do better, and that someone could do better, because it doesn't necessarily have to be me. Although I am the only one who's done a full game run, there are other people who've been interested in it. At some point after I stopped playing the game, there was a Japanese runner who took up the game and actually used disc tray abuse in the individual level segments, which I thought was so cool, which is like this person who never interacted with us on Discord. Like, this isn't someone that I had the opportunity to actually speak to. Figured out from my videos how to do the trick, which I think is so cool, because everyone else who's interacted with this speedrun in some way has been either a friend of mine or at least has talked to me via Discord. So I do think it's really cool that somebody who had no interaction with the scene still was involved in that capacity, like enough to figure out how to do disc tray abuse based on my videos. And I think it's a really unique bug. I've played a lot of PS2 games, and I've tried disc tray abuse in almost all of them. It doesn't do much in most games. In most games, the game like freezes or whatever. In SpongeBob Battle for Bikini Bottom, you can use it to clip through some areas, which I think is cool in its uniqueness. But like, it's not nearly as cool as like in my opinion, is not as cool as disc tray abuse in this game. I think we. Oh my god! I thought the game froze. I've never seen that. That would have been tragic. I would have cried. Frankly, I would have cried. But yeah, it's just like, hello. It's just like, actually, I think I should have hit him and then done that, but it's whatever. Doesn't really matter. They don't pose much of a threat, to be honest. But yeah, I think we kind of struck gold with that trick, because I think it is very unique and very cool, and I don't know of any other games that do. I think there might be a trick in one of the Pac-Man games that involves using disc tray abuse, but if anything, it's just cool that there are other scenes that have that in common with us. Like, it is a very unique trick because it only really works on this system. There's not a lot of systems where you can take the game out and keep playing. So it's like, if there are other games that have it in the PS2 like genre, or I guess not a genre, but on the PS2 system, I think that's just another like cool little bit of you know, kinship we have with those games. So I don't know. I think disc tray abuse is very cool. But this is the part of the game where I used to, there's a, I don't remember. It's down there. There's quite an expensive treasure, and I used to go down there to have enough money to buy the health potion for the final boss. And we always called it health insurance. We always made jokes about like Bernie Sanders, which is kind of funny, but also just kind of sad because look at the president right now. But yeah, we always used to call that health insurance, and then we were like, oh, I guess we don't need health insurance anymore, because I accidentally just forgot to do it one time, and that was just enough to make me stop doing it forever. It does mean I need to be more careful during the final boss, but honestly, it just encouraged me to get better at the final boss. I'm not really doing anything, or I guess at the time I wasn't really doing anything that was more safe than how I was playing it before, because I was never face tanking the boss anyway. So it didn't make a huge difference. I just kind of got better at the boss fight, so I wasn't making as many mistakes and taking damage for that, and I fell off. Yeah, entire fight restarts if you fall off. It's really irritating because it's so easy to do, but you know, well-deserved punishment for being bad at a video game. And then we hit him with the boosh. These things are weird, and in the manga, and yeah, there is a manga. It's 3 chapters, of which one of those chapters is publicly available. And I'll tell the story behind that in a second, but in the manga, these things are huge. They tower over Bolt. They're not the same. I mean, they are bigger than Bolt here, but they're significantly bigger in the manga by comparison. But how was the manga found? I found it. I could make my own video. No, it's not that interesting that I could make a video essay on it. But yeah, basically, I was for a very long time keeping my eye on Japanese auction sites for stuff about this game, searching terms like Karakuri, Korobot, and Tokobot occasionally. Tokobot didn't give us many results because it's called Korobot in Japan, but you know, there are some results for it, so it is worth searching up if you're looking for stuff related to the game. And I got a bunch of cool like trinkets and posters and you know, like promotional materials just generally. But the one thing, the Holy Grail, I actually made a video a while back called the Tokobot Plus Promotional Materials Tier List, which is just, in retrospect, the nerdiest thing ever. A tier list of promotional materials for a, what, at this point, 18-year-old video game is an extremely nerdy thing to make a tier list about. But I made that tier list, and it was a fun video to make. And in that video I said the manga would be the Holy Grail, because at that point I didn't have any real information on the manga other than some Japanese book websites and libraries had it listed, but you couldn't buy it. They just knew that it existed, and there was 3 chapters of it. All of them basically said the same thing, which is that there's 3 chapters of this, but we don't have it. And I was like, this would be the Holy Grail. We really want to find the Tokobot manga. And then one day I just found it and I bought it and I got the first chapter. Actually, what really happened, not that what I just said was a lie, but to give more detail on what happened, I didn't know that what I bought was the manga. I bought it thinking, because I don't think the product info on the site, I think it was Mercari or Yahoo Japan or something, but the info listed didn't mention it being a manga. It just said, oh, this is like a booklet that is used for promoting Tokobot Plus or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'll pick that up. It was, I think I won the auction for like, you know, 1,000 yen or something. It was a seriously insignificant amount of money. And so I was like, yeah, I will pick this up. This is a cool thing. And then when I actually got it and I opened it up, I was like, oh, this is cool. And then I turn a few pages and I'm like, oh, there's manga panels in here. This is a really good find. And then as I kept going, I was like, oh, this is all of the first chapter of Tokobot. And then, you know, when I truly knew what I had on my hands, or in my hands, I guess, I was overjoyed. Like, I was so excited. I scanned it and I posted it on the Discord. And that's currently the only place you can see it, actually. I should definitely, like, archive that better. But it's on the Discord. You can see it on the Discord. And I was just so excited to find that out. That, like, I described it as the Holy Grail in 2021, and then in 2022 I got the Holy Grail. Like, imagine finding the Holy Grail. Which reminds me of one of my favorite Yogscast series, Games Night, where they played, I think, Fun Employed, and one of the cards Lewis had said Holy Grail. So he says, I've got the Holy Grail of archaeology, which is the Holy Grail, which I like that bit. I think about that bit a lot because that kind of delivery of, like, I guess redundancy, I guess is what you would call it. That kind of delivery I find very funny. I find it very comedic. And obviously, like, I think this is true for most people, but like all of your jokes and stuff are just things that are inspired from other places. It's not to say that there's never an original joke. Sonic the Hedgehog, by the way. It's not to say that there's not an original joke. It's just kind of to say that what is it to say? What am I going for here? It's just kind of to say that I'm running myself in circles with this, with this right now. What am I trying to say? What I'm trying to say is, all of the jokes that I make, and I think this is true for most people, I will go as far as to say I think this is true for all people. The jokes that I make are, you know, products of the things that I find funny and the people that I find funny. I deliver jokes based on how I've heard people deliver jokes and found funny myself personally. And so, you know, when I say I think about that bit a lot and it's like a video from 2013, the reason I'm thinking about that bit a lot is specifically because it informs the way that I deliver jokes to this day. That doesn't mean it's the only thing that does. That would be a ridiculous thing to say, but in a very long-winded way of saying, I found that joke funny, and sometimes I deliver jokes the same way that Lewis delivered that joke.
Hello, children.
But here we go. We have, I think, chapter 5 now. That was chapter 4 over, which is pretty exciting. I think we're getting through it.
Do or die infiltration. Get back the Tokobots.
This is probably roughly the halfway mark. But yeah, the Tokobots get stolen by what I can only describe as a vacuum cleaner. And now we only have 4 of them. But 4 is enough for anybody, so I'm not really worried about it. Here we go to Grinder Valley, which sounds extremely gay, and it's only a little bit gay. It's the Waterless Cave Ruin. But yeah, we only got 4 Tokobots, so we're really gonna make them work. Yeah, this level's fine. It's just like a normal level, but the gaps between jumps are smaller because you only have 4 Tokobots. It's like the only part of the game that can be fully navigated with only 4 Tokobots. It's like if they put their base anywhere else, Bolt would never see those Tokobots again, but because they put them here, we're good. We're good. We don't need to worry about it. We do need to kill this guy. And you know, I will say the reduced range does make it kind of annoying to try and fight. And obviously if he's holding a rock. Of course I can't damage him. Why would I even attempt that? But this level's kind of cool because it's the only one... No, it's not. It is one of the only 2 levels that features a out-of-bounds bug that is not disc tray abuse. So there is a way to get out of bounds in this level purely off of just weird geometry. And the cool part is that it's the only one where it is... You just jump into the wall and you can go through it. It's a little bit more complicated than that, but that is kind of the gist of it. There's another level where you have to make use of another glitch to go out of bounds that is different from DTA. It's not the same bug as DTA, which, you know, that's cool, but it's not quite as unique as oh yeah, you just you know, you just jump out of bounds basically. You know, you won't get to see that yet because we don't do it until chapter 8, I believe, but it's kind of cool. But yeah, we just go up here and we hit some things. We hit these buttons, which are not activated for some reason. What the hell? Oh, do I need to destroy these guys as well? But they're so cute! I did need to destroy them. My bad. I thought I just needed to defeat the big guy. But it kind of makes sense, so... There we go. We've got the blue things turned to orange. Universally, blue means off, orange means on. Which is kind of cool because the Tokobots have orange on them, so I guess that means they're locked in. Yeah, I really like the character designs in this game. I find the designs of the Tokobots to be particularly appealing. They went through a lot of iterations, and well, I'm not going to get the opportunity to show off the concept art in this video. You can go to at TokobotGame on Twitter and see some of the cool concept art and other details in there. So, you know, never be afraid to follow me on Twitter at TokobotGame, or indeed at Melonkeeper, but my tweets are not that good on at Melonkeeper. It's mostly just been being angry at Spotify, because Spotify keeps turning Shuffle on my phone just randomly. I've never used Shuffle intentionally. That's probably not true, but I have never really, like, I've never wanted Shuffle really. I'm sure I've used it at some point in my life, but I don't want Shuffle on my phone, and it keeps getting turned on, presumably by Spotify. I'm not turning it on. And they really want me to use Smart Shuffle, which is where they add songs to the album you're listening to. What is up with that? Why would I ever want you to add unrelated songs to the album that I'm listening to? It's so random. And I get that it's part of their whole discovery thing, but like, you know, I'm listening to a certain album for a reason. I don't... It's whatever. But I've listened to so much more music in December than the entire rest of the year. I was looking at people's Spotify Wrapped, like, how do you listen to so much music? And now I kind of understand. Is like, if you just put it on in the background when you're doing anything, then, you know, you've got it, right? The trouble I was running into is the fact that I'm recording videos and talking to people all the time, and I can't listen to music while I do those things. It's not possible for me to do. I don't know if that's a me thing, or if it's just like that's a universally accepted thing, and everybody who has a bunch of hours in Spotify Wrapped is just like not talking to as many people. But I don't want to say you've got no friends, because you have a lot of Spotify Wrapped hours, but 100,000 minutes is a lot of time, so maybe you don't have any friends. No, I am joking, but it was interesting to see all the statistics go out and stuff, because some people are very eager, I guess is the best thing I can say. Some people are very eager to listen to music, and I am too. I do like music, but it is what it is. But yeah, we gotta fight this guy here. And then, yeah, there's just like, this is a mini boss, not an actual boss fight, but there are a lot of boss fights in this level. Oh my god. I completely forgot that it does that. Clearly I don't remember this game that well, because I did not know they just explode. But yeah, I mean, I keep like hanging out on very low health here. And oh, this is fun. Oh, I'm inside the thing. I wonder if there's a way to clip out. Probably not. But yeah, you could theoretically... No, you can't. I was about to say, you could theoretically skip Grinder Valley. But you can't do the out of bounds until we unlock another thing. So I just misremembered that. But yeah, if you could go out of bounds with that thing, I guess it would save a decent amount of time. Now I believe I just go this way. There is a thing you can unlock up there, but we don't need to get it, so I guess we just go this way. I remember there being something about... Oh, I tried so many things to glitch hunt this game, by the way. Like, I tried dying on the same frame that you open a door. It doesn't do anything, you just die. You just die, and it looks like you're opening the door, because you are. I believe you go like this way. But yeah, if you get seen by the light, you get sent back in the level, so you don't want that. But it also counts if your Tokobots get seen, so you do need to be careful in that one. That one's kind of difficult to do quickly. There was a way to do it that I figured out, but apparently I don't remember it. What we're seeing here in real time is speedrunner rust. Well, I don't think it would take me that long to get back to roughly where I was when I was actively running the game, because like I don't think I'm going that slow. I am taking my time with stuff that I would be going faster, but I think I am playing decently. There are games I played this year that I used to speedrun that I remember a lot worse. So it certainly could be worse than it is. But it is a testament to how many hours I put into this game. I think I had like over 140 hours on the speedrun clock, which just extends to like hundreds of more hours when I wasn't like specifically speedrunning, but I was playing the game, or like if I was doing IL runs, that doesn't count towards that number. So it is a staggering amount of hours for like basically, I don't know, 10 months of gameplay. But there was a while where I would play this game basically non-stop because it was COVID. It was COVID. I started playing this game in 2020, and I didn't start university until September 2021, and basically that entire time, both summers, 2020 and 2021, I spent a lot of that time playing this game or otherwise interacting with it, because even if I wasn't playing the game, I was like doing like archival stuff. I was finding the you know, various things. Why can I not? I was finding like various things on Mercari or Yahoo Japan auctions, and I was like scanning them, and like all of this stuff was not an insignificant amount of time. I'm going to die, and it's going to be very embarrassing when I die. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, dodge. Lily can't beat the kids game. I haven't saved in a while, so if I die, the video is over. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I'm so scared. I'm so scared. Seriously, do not want to re-record this video. Not after getting an hour and 17 minutes in. I can't die here. Is there more? Okay, we're good. We're good. Oh my goodness. That was terrifying. Well, we got through it. We got through it. No worries. No worries. We're chill. We're chill. Oh no. Seriously? Give me health. Give me health. Okay, bread. There we go. I was like, I'm not doing this on like one heart. That's a no-go. So this part is interesting. See, this guy, he's gonna shoot at us, and we're gonna dodge it. But we need to get down here, so we need to be pretty safe. Now, usually when I'm speedrunning this, I go super fast along this part to the point where like the dizziness isn't a worry. But I'm not confident enough to do that right now. So let's save the game. How about it? Let's save the game for the first time in, you know, several minutes. And let's call that's okay. That is a perfectly a good place to save the game. Because oh my god, how terrifying is that? And here we have the end of chapter 5. These chapters are going by very quickly. I know we're an hour and 20 minutes in, and the speedrun is almost done by now. The speedrun's like an hour and 35 minutes, so the speedrun's almost done by now. But it feels like I'm going pretty fast for a relatively casual playthrough of Tokobot for me, for my standards. Obviously, you wouldn't call all of the tricks and stuff I'm doing casual by any means, but so yeah, this boss fight's one that I never truly optimized, because you wait until it stops and then you hit it, but you can hit it while it's moving this entire time, and that would be way faster. But like, how am I meant to time it? Like it's super doable, but I'm not that good. And then as it runs off, I do the samurai hover, and because I did it too fast, it does nothing. I gotta wait for the invincibility to end. And I was so close as well. I think it would be considerably easier if I had all 8 Tokobot, but I only have 4, so... Like, and there it stopped and I missed, so that makes it even more awkward. Well, I mean, this isn't a speedrun, so it's not a problem, but this is stuff that would happen during my speedruns, because this is not an easy boss fight to do quickly. Like, it's a boss fight that's easy enough to beat. You're not gonna die fighting her, but... Yeah, it's not easy. And she does have a pissy boss phase that you can completely avoid. Like, it's not guaranteed to happen, it only happens if you take too long. But very often you will get the pissy boss phase, because, let's be honest, you're not goated. You're not goated like that. And I wasn't goated like that. And if I'm not goated like that, no one is, because I was the best in the world at this game at one point. I probably still am, but if this is what the best in the world looks like, that's kind of embarrassing. I'm washed, but no one else is even, like, playing the game, so... That's the really sad part, is how little attention this game got. You can look up Let's Plays of it and stuff. There's not much, and the Let's Plays that do exist have very few views. There's very little attention on this game, which I think is a shame, because it's so cool. I think if I was... yeah, maybe if I just go to the start... See, my instinct is to try and, like, see, I didn't even see the pissy boss phase that time. So I don't know what I did. They just, like, smacked their ass. Why not? Yeah, sure. But yeah, basically... what was I saying? We found the Tokobot. Not all of them. That's only 2. Where are the rest of my babies? I actually do know where they are. They're in Crankbelt Kingdom. Because that's where we're going next. And yeah, we can't get through here, but we have to come back later. Blah, blah. I get it. I'm cool with it. Chapter 6.
Raging battle. The impregnable Crankbelt
Impregnable? I'll show you. We're gonna... What, if impregnable means like not pregnable, right? So I'm gonna pregnate? I don't know. I don't know. Let's go to the Kingdom of Crankbelt. This is a fun one. It's not super exciting. I did a I was doing an all rare treasures run. Rare treasures is just optional collectibles. I was doing an all rare treasures run that died here, and I was like, oh, that sucks. I'm just never going to play this category again. And I didn't. I didn't ever go back to that. Is this the right place? Yes, it is. Lucky me. An all rare treasures run would take a few hours. Quite a bit longer than 90%, I believe. I don't know why I'm fighting this guy. I can just go. We get to... I should save, actually. I was going to not save, and then I realized what I'm about to do, so I should save. There is a cool trick we get to do here, a cool skip, which I discovered that saves a decent amount of time and a lot of boring stuff. And this trick is a moon jump that has the potential to crash the game. Not crash, soft lock. I did leave... well, actually, it wasn't me, but one of my friends, Arumin, left the game running during a moon jump for a very, very long time, and it was sped up on an emulator as well, to try and see what would happen if, oh, what if we, like, leave this running for ages? Like, what happens? Nothing much, to be honest. So that's our cool story. So here you'll notice these things that I can swing off of, and if I try to hit them while standing, it doesn't work. They're too high up. But a really interesting thing happens when you press this button. So this button drains the water in the earlier area we saw, so that you can get to the area below it. Which is interesting. For some reason it also lowers, and this is really funny, it also lowers the poles that swing by like a hair's breadth. But it lowers them by enough that you actually can cling on to them when you're grounded, which you're never meant to be able to do. This is not intended behavior for any single part of the game. Why am I not able to do it? Am I capping? Am I capping? What? Oh, maybe you can't do it with only 6 Tokobots. Maybe you need 8. I'm not sure. That was weird. I seriously thought I could do it. No, I'm sure you can. Hold on. So the glitch I usually do here is this one. There you go. I did it. That's never meant to happen. I guess I can only do it from this side, and that's what the problem was. That's never meant to happen. You're not meant to be able to do that. And so the animations are kind of weird because the game's like, well, you're grounded, but you're also in the air. So you do the grounded, like, you know, like swinging animation. And it's kind of interesting. But yeah, the skip I discovered involves doing this at a very particular timing. And it just drags you through the wall, basically. You can clip through the wall using it. And this was a big discovery for me because it was the first discovery I made, basically, after disc tray abuse. It was the first, like, out of bounds that I found that wasn't a disc tray abuse thing. Which for me was quite important because I was worried for a very long time that, well, we found disc tray abuse and it's only usable in a couple places. You know, have we kind of conclude, you know, see how weird that is? Like, that is unusual. But also you can't, okay, so you cannot use Samurai Hover in midair. Can I use him after doing that bug because I'm technically still grounded? No, I just did it as soon as I touched the ground. Well, whatever. That would have been cool. Not necessarily useful for anything, but cool. But yeah, it was kind of a big deal because I was like, well, have we kind of discovered everything? Is this game going to have further discoveries? And this kind of showed me that, yeah, there's still more stuff to discover. And I still believe there's bugs and stuff in this game that we haven't discovered. There was quite a interesting bug I discovered where you could have a cutscene overlapping with one of the boss fights. And that was super cool. You could play during the cutscene, and that's the only bug of its like that I ever found. But it's not useful for anything, unfortunately. But I explored that to its fullest extent in a stream once. And everyone was like, well, what if this is gonna be the like credits warp? And I was like, it's probably not a credits warp. How cool would that be, you know? Like, I can't pass up the opportunity to maybe find that. So I explored it to its fullest extent. I'm really not getting this. It is hard, but I was a lot more consistent at it way back then. I might look up the video of me doing it so I can... Nope. Got it. No! I got it! I can't believe I got it and then messed it up. Well, you saw it. So you know what I'm going for now. Here we go. Close but no cigar. But yeah, there's many of these swingy pole things in Valverde Ruins too. So I was like, oh, what if we can clip through a wall with one of these? But none of them are moving, and try as I might, I was not able to clip through any walls using it. That would be such a big discovery. I put genuinely, I think, like 80 hours into to glitch hunting that level. Which kind of makes me feel like what it really needs is a new pair of eyes looking at it. Because how many people after 80 hours of nothing end up finding what they're looking for? Not many. But maybe someone else can come in with a new fresh idea and innovate in that level. Because I really would like for something to be found there. Because I truly do believe in magic. I truly do believe that there will be something we can exploit there. It's just too broken of a game. All things considered, the game is held pretty well together. I mean, you can see how much work it takes for me to get this even one time, right? Like, it is, all things considered, pretty well held together. This bug also exists in the PSP version, which has no disc tray abuse. But the moon jump weirdly doesn't exist in that game. So they must have done something regarding the way that Out of Bounds is handled that changed it for this game, which is kind of interesting to think about. But there's no moon jump in that game, so it doesn't really save time. I think it technically does, but it's like such an insignificant amount of time that... Because it only makes you skip like one room forward, which again is good, but I've never done a run that involved it. I did one run of Tokobot to get it on speedrun.com and then never touched the game again, because the PSP version of this game is significantly less good. This game adds quite a lot, like entire chapters, and the PSP version just doesn't hit the same. The combat's not as good. Everything's tied to like a resource. So if you don't have enough of those resources, you can't advance in the game, and it's just like not very fun. Like the crane and stuff, those things that are essential for making progress in the game, you need like various resources to activate. And so you have to spend the entire speedrun and the casual run trying to pick up enough of these things so that you have permission to use the different transformations and stuff, and it just sucks. And why am I so bad at this? At some point I will give up on not hitting it, but it actually saves so much time that I don't want to stop. Like, technically this is sunk cost fallacy, I think. I've got to see the lineup. I've got to see the lineup. Maybe I should look it up, because, you know, if my speedrun tutorials are good, I'll be able to follow it. Alright, fuck it. I'm gonna look it up. Melon Keeper. I'm literally Googling myself. That's hilarious. Let me find it. It's been a long time since I've played this game, actually. It's been like, quite a while. I'm having to scroll so far just to find it. But I have found it. No, I haven't. What? I thought I went far enough, but I guess not. Here we go. I'm back in my old Tokobot Plus content here. So can I find a tutorial for this skip? I did so much speedrunning stuff back in the day. Like, I haven't done a speedrun of a game in so long. I mean, I've done Stranded Isle, but that's like a 5-minute game. It doesn't really count the same way, I mean. But yeah, I mean, it's genuinely been more than 3 years since I did the speedrun content. That's really surprising. But I found the point in the video where I did it. Okay, so I was standing more like here. Like a lot closer than I thought. Watch me get it first try. Watch me first try it. not quite. Certainly I would call that a better result. So I was standing too far away, I think, was my problem. I need to stand more like here-ish. There we go, and I messed it up again. I don't know what I'm pressing square to like let go. I can't believe both times I got it, I messed it up. But at least I have a much better idea of where to stand now for it. Come on. That one broke immediately. Man, I can't believe I messed it up twice now. There we go. Okay. Now let me look at the lineup, because if I mess this up after all this time, I'm gonna be upset. So what? I go at like an angle here, and there's like a corner here that I jumped into at like this angle. Okay. I don't know if I'm meant to move at all, so I'm just gonna go in a straight line, because that's all I can tell from this. And it does take quite a while, so I wouldn't assume anything about whether or not it's worked yet. Because this one does take quite a while to get going. Oh, I'm so worried. I'm so worried. Am I gonna get it? I did it! I actually did it. Wait, where have I... No! This is the soft lock! No way, I got the skip, but I landed in this tiny box that I can't escape from. That's actually kind of hilarious, I can't lie. Okay, wait. I'm going to cut the video here, and I'll get back to where I was, and I'll do the jump again. You know, but it is moments exactly like these that kind of explain why the game isn't a popular speed game. Even amongst the people who do enjoy the game, these kinds of moments where failing a single skip means the run is over, and it's not even over in the capacity that, you know, you've lost too much time. It's just you can't keep playing after you've missed a moon jump like this. It really kind of sucks to end up in this position. And this is not even the room that I'm aiming to land in, but I'll take it because it's close enough. You know, it still saves the time, just not quite as much as I would have liked. The actual room that we're trying to jump into is the one right after this. In a specific position that allows us to skip this fight that we have to do. But, you know, we'll take that skip. It's absolutely fine. But this is one of the areas where, like, the fact that the game is not very performant starts to kind of rear its ugly head. Because this game lags a lot. There's a lot of lag that befalls Tokobot, and it is super playable despite that. Like, it's not such a big deal, but you can see how, like, fast it's not running. Or, in other words, how slow it is running. And it's really notable when there's a bunch of enemies on screen. I said back in, like, 2022, 2023, that if they made a remake of this game, I will speedrun it. Even if that means speedrunning, you know, any percent without basically any skips, because you wouldn't be able to do DTA on modern consoles, I would still do it. And the main reason why I would still do it is because, well, first of all, it would be a remake of the game, which is just super cool. But second of all, we wouldn't have the lag problems. And I do think a more, like, performant version of this game would be more enjoyable to play for every reason other than disc tray abuse. And I'm sure we would find new glitches, because at this point we'd be looking more at like a remake than a port. Not that you can't port PS2 games, but it's been so long that I feel like we kind of deserve something better than that. But I don't think it's gonna happen. A while back, Koei Tecmo filed a trademark for Karakuri or something like that. It was for Karakuri. I just don't know if it was a trademark or if it was some other kind of legal document, but they were saying, listen, we're going to make something, and the word Karakuri's in it, basically, is what the news was reporting, and everyone was like, this could be Tokobot, you know, Tokobot might be back. Tokobot was not, in fact, back. They released a game called Wild Hearts, I want to say, Wild Hearts. Some like Koei Tecmo game. You can look it up. There's a version of the game called Karakuri Edition. So they just completely trolled us with that announcement, but that really got a lot of conversation started about a potential re-release or otherwise, you know, sequel to Tokobot, and like, what do we want out of a sequel? And I talked a little bit about like plot-wise what I would want out of a Tokobot sequel, but I do think it's a nice idea to kind of look at, well, what would the gameplay of a Tokobot sequel be like? And I would like the overworld and kind of like, you know, puzzle platformer aspects of it to stay mostly the same. I think all the joints are good, and I wouldn't really want them to change that aspect of the game. But what I will say is, it would be cool if, so in the original PSP game, the overdrives, you can actually play as them. So Samurai Hover in this game, when I do it, he just does one attack. In the PSP version, you could actually control Samurai Hover and like fly around and do sword attacks. Now, I actually prefer the PS2 version because it's just faster and it makes the combat a lot more enjoyable, because the overdrives were pretty underpowered in the PSP version. But I think if they refined that system more and gave you more options as the overdrives, and maybe made like the fact that the Tokobots can morph into different things, if they made that a bigger part of the gameplay rather than just some isolated segments here and there. Like, there's only like, I think 2 Mono Choo Choo segments in the whole game. It would be cool if they had more stuff like Mono Choo Choo, where it like actually changes the gameplay a lot. I mean, we see very often with like 3D platformers that all they're doing is 3D platformers, whereas back with like old 3D platformers, it was like, yeah, you're playing a 3D platformer, but you gotta do the like the monorail section. Are you stupid? Are you stupid? You didn't do the monorail section? And that's exactly what we got out of this game, right? So I think it would be cool if in a potential Tokobot sequel we saw more stuff kind of like that. I also wouldn't mind seeing, you know, Hey Pikmin was a pretty poorly received version of Pikmin, but I think that would work for Tokobot. Like a 2D Tokobot game could actually work in a way that the 2D platformer Pikmin obviously didn't. So that would also be cool, but I mean, if they're gonna make more Tokobot, I hope it's just more of what we already have, because this is what got me into the game, right? So if it was something different, I feel like that would be kind of disappointing. But, you know, there's an idea. We're getting to the end of chapter 6 here. We're gonna get our other Tokobots back, and then we move on to chapter 7. And chapter 7 is, I think, just the underground of the Crankbelt Kingdom. I could be misremembering, but I don't think I am. This is Torturer, spelled kind of funny with the word torch. He slams his head on the ground and then gets hit by my attacks. He also does this huge fire attack, which is kind of annoying.
How fascinating.
But this is actually a really good place to get heals, because there's a lot of like bread in this arena, which is pretty cool. There's like meat over there. If you're running low on health, then the start of this boss fight is pretty safe. Ouch. But yeah, this boss fight, you can do it pretty fast using a combination of like Samurai Hover and normal attacks. Like, you can do this if you time it correctly. Or I guess it's not like that, but you know what I mean. You can, I'm pretty sure hit him back to back by by positioning yourself correctly. But evidently that is kind of difficult. But all the boss fights are kind of easy except the last one. The last one is significantly punishing, actually. They did not go easy on us for that. Can I get him from the front? I actually don't remember. I guess not. Man, I almost died. Yeah, okay. Incoming fire attack? It's actually hilarious. You don't get to see him charge very often. He just went through a wall there. I want to see him charge again. You know, I never routed this. Maybe getting him to charge into the wall is faster. I don't know. Maybe you do more damage if you hit him after that. There are weird things like that scattered all over this game where, like, hitting enemies at different parts of their cycle does different amounts of damage. It's not like a consistent amount of damage for each hit. So, I mean, anything could happen. But coming up next, we have my favorite bench in gaming history. People talked about the benches a lot in, like, Pokemon X and Y. Well, check out this awesome bench in Tokobot, where it's a bench and it's kind of buggy. Is this bench here, and you can kind of get inside it, and if you jump, you can't jump because you're inside a bench. I was hoping that maybe this bench could lead us to some, like, out of bounds discovery. It never did, but it is a cool bench. You gotta walk into it from the right angle to get stuck inside the bench. But unfortunately, there is no such bench out of bounds discovered. But I still think it's cool. But yeah, my idea was, like, maybe it could push us into the wall or something. But instead we just get pushed inside the bench, which makes sense. It makes sense that you'd get pushed inside the bench. But yeah, I remember running into this bench for genuinely like an hour trying to figure out an out of bounds here. Because if we did discover an out of bounds in this level, it would be pretty fucking fast. Because it's right at the start of the chapter and you could probably just be able to go right to the end. But as you can see, no matter how much I run into it, I don't really seem to be making any progress. But you can imagine me at God, 17 years old or something, or maybe 18, just running into this corner for like hours and hours. All my friends are doing like high school or actual jobs, and I'm just like, it's COVID. Let's let's walk into a bench until we go through a wall. And I never even got through the wall. There would be a cool ending to this story if I was like, yeah, and then I got through the wall, but no, I never did. But yeah, there's my favorite bench in gaming history. There's more of them over here. I don't think that you can clip into these ones. I could be wrong. There could be like a very specific way to do it with these ones, but as far as I remember, you can't clip into these benches. So it really is just that bench that has my heart and has my love. But yeah, after discovering the out of bounds in Crankbelt, and then the Grinder Valley out of bounds was discovered not by me, but by a speedrunner called Gramix. You know, after that was discovered, it was kind of just like, okay, we're gonna walk into every wall, and anytime you kind of jiggle around, that's some kind of indication that maybe there's a skip. Can you make that jump? I feel like you can't, but I feel like I should try. It felt possible. That looked possible. I don't know. I've definitely tried it before. I just don't remember if I hit it or not. Whatever. So yeah, this is like a narrow walkway where you gotta be careful. It's not that hard, but I do feel like sections like this are just kind of awkward. Like, they move so fast. They move so fast. But yeah, I mean, I was navigating these like a pro when I was speedrunning it, so can't be that hard. Obviously, jumping there's faster. You know, gotta get every time save you can. I guess I gotta move when it's on the way up. And then we'll just jump over that. Well, I've got to have the right formation ahead of time. Because the Tokobot will not willingly go over the edge of something, even if it's safe for them to go there. So you have to have enough space to actually go into the right formation. Otherwise they will refuse. Like if I'm standing here and I try to go into this formation, it doesn't work. They need to have enough space to actually walk there. This room makes me nervous. Like, what is this? What is this? Oh yeah, and the amount of height that you get when gliding, like the amount of... Okay. That was very poorly timed. The amount of distance you fall, I think, is dependent on how many Tokobot you have. That could be wrong. I could be forgetting, or otherwise not remembering. It's pretty important that I don't die here, I'm gonna be honest. I will die if I fall, and if I do die, I'm going back to the chapter 6 end. I'm dead. Well, that is kind of awkward, because that'll take me back to chapter 6. I guess that just adds on to the examples of reasons why this game's a little bit unfriendly to speedruns. It's really not that bad once... I mean, what just happened? Seriously? It's really not that bad once you get used to the game and you've played it for a while. But I do think it is a bit of a barrier to like new players, that their run might just be like kind of killed for like very minor missteps. And another thing is it makes it very marathon unfriendly. Like if I were in marathon, I'd want to save the game, but saving the game's so slow that it would act like just the act of saving the game would change my estimate by probably a couple minutes. Oh, that was bad. Yep, that was bad. Guess we're going all the way down. And I think if just like saving the game changes your like run estimate, or you could just be like super confident and like potentially have your run, you know, like die in the middle of a marathon. You could do that and only save at the most critical moments. But to me that's just irresponsible because you're wasting people's time if you do fail. And like that's not a kind thing to do in a marathon run. I would actually say that's rather unkind, to not like be considerate for other people's time. You know, like that Halo run, there was a person who did a Halo run but like hadn't actually speedrun the game very much, just like faked runs or something. I don't really remember, but it was a GDQ run that actually began something called the Halo rule, which is that at any point your run can be basically mercy killed if the staff deem it appropriate, which is a good rule for a marathon to have, by the way, because they don't have all the time in the world, and you know, if you're just going over estimate by a bunch, they gotta stick to schedule. But yeah, I feel like there is a universe where you run Tokobot in marathon and you do something that ends up getting your run basically mercy killed. And I think that would not... Oh yeah, you're supposed to hit the button. I forgot. I forgot that we were on a timer. But yeah, I definitely think there exists like a fate where that happens and it's just like, oh, you kind of buggered it. And I don't like that. I would hope that never happens to this game, because that would be a shame. But it is just like, yeah, it's not a super marathon safe game, unless you're doing, you know, an estimate that you might exceed by a lot. I think that's also the thing, is like, even if you factor the saves into the estimate, if your run goes flawlessly, then your estimate might be too long, right? Like it might be like you finish significantly under estimate, which, you know, later in a marathon, because marathons almost always run late, almost every single time marathons run late. Later on in a marathon that might be welcome, but early on it can cause problems. So I don't know, it's weird. When I did my Ben 10 power trip run, I came in under estimate by like 9 minutes or something, which is fine. That's like a, I think that's like within expected variance for, you know, a speedrun estimate, and we were behind schedule by like an hour at that point, so I think it was you know, welcomed at that point. But I mean, even here you see like chapter 7 is pretty short because you're on a timer for most of it. But here's the second Mono Choo Choo section that I was talking about, and thinking about it now, I hope I got the fast travels in the right places for chapter 8, because I have not been thinking about it, so there's every chance that I didn't, and I'm gonna have to do some major backtracking. I mean, it won't make the run significantly longer, it's just kind of annoying, but I mean, how can you expect me to remember all this stuff so much later? I do think that it would take me like only a couple days to get back into speedrunning shape. After playing this game for this video, it kind of feels like I'm not too far off of where I, you know, want to be for being in speedrunning shape. There's still some things I need to learn, but like a couple days of like really putting time towards it, and I think I could be there. The only problem is like, I mean, do I not have better things to spend my time doing? Probably. Christmas. Probably Christmas. I'm a big Christmas fan. I'll get to talk about that in my Christmas video, but oh, you can also, I'm fairly certain I tried clipping in here. Yeah. You can clip in here. I'm fairly certain I tried clipping into the wall from this position for like ages and ages and ages. There's not really any way to do it, and I don't think it would be super beneficial if you could. I'm confident. Let's just go ahead. Oh yeah, the rooftops. I completely forgot about the rooftop segments. You really do need to like smack those guys because they will just shoot you out of the air. They're not super accurate, but it would suck to befall that fate, or to have that fate befall me. But yeah, one thing I was kind of annoyed by is like I don't have any of my Ratchet and Clank games anymore. I played Ratchet 3 on the channel, but I couldn't find like Ratchet 2 or 1. Which was kind of unfortunate. Ratchet 3 is my favorite one, to be fair, but I don't have a lot of my PS2 games that I played when I was a kid, which kind of bothers me because I mean, not only are those a part of my childhood, but they'd be good for Melon Keeper Gold content. I still have KO the Kangaroo to play. I've been trying to play it on Gold for a while, but I just haven't been able to. For some reason, my controller's not working on the Xbox version, or like, no, my Xbox controller's not working on the PC version, like on Steam, and you know, that's fairly problematic for trying to do you know, a recording of the game. The good part is that I do have the PS2 version, so I think I'll just play KO on PS2, but it is a bit of a shame because I never was like I speedrun the digital Steam version, not the physical PS2 version, so it feels kind of less true to the reason I'm playing it, which is that I speedrun it for a long time, and it was, well, not for a long time ago, but it was like one of the things that got me into kind of the speedrunning community and speedrunning proper. I was very into that game for the time when I played it, and you're supposed to run him into the bombs. I know these things. I'm kind of silly for forgetting. Yeah, you're supposed to hit him into the bombs,
Bolt.
and then that does damage to him. Not much, to be honest. But this boss fight I remember fighting as a kid. So I at least got to chapter 7 based on that. I remember this room distinctly, and more specifically the cutscene that comes after. Oh my god, I keep running him into the bomb that has the like shorter fuse. So he's just not hitting it, so I need to go this way. Perfect. Yeah, I'm kind of a noob here. Can I samurai hover in this position? I don't think I can. No, it was worth trying. So now he stands up, and he's like, you're not gonna hit me, and you have to go over here. And this had like a really weird... I don't remember the right way to approach this. Because he has like really weird patterns, and it's like, do you want to chase him to go to where he is? Or do you want to stand here and wait for him to come to you? That was the thing that always confused me. I think the right thing to do a lot of the time is swing into him from a distance and hit him like that. I mean, no, you can't even, you have to be standing. Yeah, I have no idea. You can't hit him from that distance. Oh, I'm gonna die. Good thing I saved. Good thing I saved. I've been using that, quite liberally. Yeah, but like, I guess you need to race him there, because if you don't do that, he just runs away, right? This is one of those boss fights that like I always lost time on, or saved like I either lost time on it or I saved so much time that like I couldn't compete in my next run. I was always losing time on this split compared to some like random time that I arbitrarily had a very good like, what am I meant to do here? He just runs. Like I'm sure there is a right thing to do, but I don't see what it is. And now I'm gonna take damage from the spikes if I'm not careful, because I feel like if I go near him now, he's just gonna run away. What's the game's advice?
Yet it moves surprisingly fast.
It moves surprisingly fast. Yeah, I mean, that is true. And now I die. Okay. But yeah, this is a fight that I never truly figured out. Despite speedrunning this game for as long as I did. And I do think that's a bit of a shame, because you fight it twice. As always, there is a boss rush, but he only moves in a straight line, so I know that I can preempt his move a little bit more than that during the bomb section. Yeah, so I think I want to go the opposite direction that he does at this point. That's my best guess for what to do, because he's going to come across to the other side, right? Right? I mean, I know that I can't outrun him. Like, I do not move faster than he does. So whatever I'm doing, I can definitely hit him with Samurai Hover here. That seems good. And then maybe I can... Oh, booyah! Okay, so that's what you're meant to do. Do that, kids. Oh, I need to go tell the speedrunning community about that. I definitely knew about that already. There's no way I came up with that for the first time today. After speedrunning the game for so long, ain't no way. Restart. So yeah, you gotta kind of keep him away from the walls, I think, because what we saw right there is the bomb got tripped off by him being like too close to it. I'm gonna go the way he goes here. I feel like if I can get off a Samurai Hover quite quickly, or not, whatever. Okay. Gotta avoid the spikes. But now he's in the middle. I have no idea how to respond to this move. Mind you, when I'm in midair, I can't move left or right. Like, that's not an option I have, so... Deesh! Okay, so... I've figured out a little thing about this boss fight. I don't know if I always knew that. There's no way I found that out for the first time today, though. So I'm pretty sure that is new to me. Well, hopefully I can try not dying so much. But that's the end of Chapter 7. We're in Chapter 8 already. Game's almost over.
Reveal the truth.
Yeah, we gotta
Secrets of
get
the power to control the world.
Secrets of the power to control the world. This was interpreted in... Like, I don't fully know, but my interpretation is that the villains are kind of being manipulated by some unseen characters. They were clearly leading up to a sequel after you beat the game.
Oh my.
There's a little bit of dialogue between two characters that we never see that kind of implies that they're manipulating the villains that we do see.
Too bad.
I don't even have enough money to upgrade the straight slash, whatever. But, God, what was I saying? Am I stupid? I can't remember what I was saying. I seriously can't remember what I was saying. Yeah, I think that what the lore of the situation is here is there is a character who is manipulating the villains we see. That power to control the world, what it actually is a power to destroy the world. There's a robot called Zero who is underneath the ground, and he has the power to kind of, you know, do a lot of destruction and earthquakes and all that kind of stuff. I think the villains wrongly interpreted that power to control the world. What Zero is actually able to do is control the sort of, I guess, earthquakes and stuff. So I think they wrongly interpreted that as a way to, you know, a power that would allow them to be in control of all the world's governments and stuff like that. And well, I guess maybe fortunately that's not how it works for them. I believe we just go here and we can find the yeah, 5 earthquakes. There you go. Exactly what I was saying, but it's not what I was looking for. There is a tablet thing in here. There we go. How many did it say I needed to get? There's 8 of them. I don't know how many I have already because I haven't really been keeping count. Whatever. We'll find out when I get the next one. The next one we get to do a skip for, which is pretty cool. There's actually a skip for 2 of the... probably 3 of the next ones, but I don't know them that well. But at least this one we do use a skip for because it's actually impossible to get without the skip. I should probably save. When was the last time I saved? I should probably save. Curious. Yeah, when was the last time I saved? Bolt. Okay, I am going to go over here and save. But yeah, there's a skip in this one that requires us to have the Wheel-O-Matic, which we don't actually unlock during this speedrun. So we have to do the skip for this one, which is fine, because I knew I was going to do it and I was prepared to do it, because it's a very cool skip that is unlike any of the other skips in the game, and it was discovered by a fellow runner, Gramix, who really deserves the attention for this one. So yeah, we're gonna save so that if I do mess it up, nothing terrible happens, and then we're going to go and do it. Now this is a cool skip because unlike every other skip in the game, you don't clip through the wall by using DTA, you don't clip through the wall by using what's it called? The magnetic things, the poles. The only way that we're gonna get through this wall is by jumping into it. So you jump up on this boulder, and I have no idea how they discovered this. This seems like something I would have given up on trying it before discovering it. But if you jump into the right part of this wall, you can actually go straight through it. And you have to have some kind of sideward momentum as you do it, which is one of the parts that makes it so difficult to replicate. So you kind of saw it there, but I didn't make it all the way through. It will be very obvious once I make it all the way through. But yeah, that's not it either. And I was able to do this pretty consistently at the peak of my speedrunning, but now I am finding it quite difficult. But because I feel like it's also like I want the sidewards momentum, but I also want to be like slightly. I think I want to be slightly facing like my right side towards the wall slightly, so I can harness some of that sidewards momentum into like move inside the wall momentum. I mean, that's definitely not the setup I'm looking for, I can say that. But yeah, this could easily take a while. This is not an easy skip to get once, never mind, you know, multiple times if you need to. And I'm pretty sure the IL record doesn't even use it. Like, it would be faster too, but... Oh, no, that's not quite it. That's not quite it. Oh, that could be it. That felt good. Yup, there we go. Now we're out of bounds. And we gotta be very careful. It's very easy to soft lock yourself once you're in this position. Very easy to soft lock yourself once you're in this position. I'm gonna summon my little guys. No, they're not making it to me. Okay. I gotta do this one alone. So what we need to do is we need to get down while staying out of bounds. And now we can get our guys to come with us. And we want to walk just kind of parallel to this black line here. It is... Not gonna lie, it's pretty scary being out of bounds here, because it's like one wrong move and you mess it up. So but yeah, we want to come over here, and I don't know how far you can walk while loading in the new zones, because I feel like, yeah, you can't go any further than this. But yeah, you kind of, I believe you go up to the edge on this side, which we're at now. Oh my goodness, I almost messed it up there. Come back. Oh, I was actually saying to come back to the Tokobot, but I guess I don't need it. And then we need to go slightly to the left. So this is kind of nerve-wracking, because you... Oh, I didn't get it. I went to the wrong room. So I needed to go further left there, but you can see it. You can see it in motion there, what we're kind of going for. So hopefully I can clip through this wall a bit faster this time, but I'll cut to the bit where I do, because I don't want to waste your time. But you know, much thanks to the developers for making everything work out in the way that they do, because it is truly amazing that in this level where every additional room has a loading screen in between it, still somehow those rooms are laid out sequentially in a way that it makes these moon jumps possible. And there we go, we've got the next passcode just by doing a moon jump there. And this room's not that big. Like, it's not easy to hit that jump. Equally, it's not that bad. You definitely can do it within a fairly reasonable amount of time. But still, I failed it that one time. So, you know, there's that. Next we go to Valver Ruins, which I believe has two more? Are there two in Valver Ruins that I haven't gotten? I don't know. But we're gonna find them. I can't remember. Have I gone too far already? Because I feel like there's one... over here. could be remembering wrong, but I feel like there might be one over here. Oh yeah, I've fallen all the way down by doing that. That's actually convenient. I think there is one down here. Oh god, game is lagging. I feel like there's a tablet over here. I know there's a secret area. I don't know if it contains a tablet. It might just have a rare treasure. No, surely it has a tablet. Because I remember going down here, so I must have done it as part of a run. Now doing this as part of a moon jump would be quite fast. And certainly is possible. But I've never done it. Actually, I think I have landed here from a moon jump before. But I've never done it for a speedrun or even intentionally. But I think that would be the next probably moon jump that I would introduce to the run is going here to get this passcode, because I just don't know how much time it would save, but I know that the other ones are more risky, basically. Although that one seems kind of hard to get to with a moon jump, so maybe I'm wrong and that one's not as risky, or that one's not as good of a time save. I know you could theoretically skip the boss in so for one of the passcodes we need to return to Damper Rock Ruins, and in that level there's a boss guarding it. It's Taji again, no spoilers, but it is Taji, and I have considered that you might be able to do the load and unload strategy for that boss fight. But I'm not entirely convinced that you can, but I could be wrong. If you can do it there, that would certainly be the fastest that I can think place to do it. But because I didn't make a save file in Valver Ruins 2, we get the very fun privilege of doing the Mono Choo Choo minigame again. You know, if you're going to speedrun this, make sure to make a save file in the right place, because otherwise you're going to have to do Mono Choo Choo again, because you can only teleport to the places if you actually talk to the save statues, and I didn't, so here we are. And it's not a big deal. Mono Choo Choo's actually fun, guys. Mono Choo Choo's fun. Other than when you fail, because you lose so much time for making a single mistake on Mono Choo Choo. It's actually kind of ridiculous. You can just tank damage. Like, you don't lose time for taking damage during Mono Choo Choo, so you can at least do that and care a significant amount less than I do about it, because I usually play them out properly. But you can tank damage for like most of it and be fine. I wouldn't, you know, tank all the damage on purpose. But running through an enemy once, it's like, look at how much damage that did. I'm fine. And I get heals right after, you know. In fact, it might even be better to take the damage there, because then it's easier to see where the hole is that you're jumping over, because the VFX from the explosion last a lot longer than the amount of time that the enemy's on screen. So you could just do that. I'm not saying I recommend it, but am I really getting punished for taking damage here? Not really. In fact, you might be able to tank the entire thing without dying. I'm not entirely convinced you can't. Because, like, I'm still not taking that much damage. And you can see the chunks of the Mono Choo Choo rail loading in very slowly, because that's just how the game is. But this is cool. We gotta go over here, pull this thing over here. And I really wish you could make this jump, but you can't. Check this out. Oh, you can? What? Never mind. Clearly I misremembered. But yeah, you make that jump and then you make another one and you're good. I've also tried using these blocks to get out of bounds. You can't. You can't get out of bounds using those blocks. Which, like, I'm not terribly surprised by, but it is annoying. Because, you know, getting an out of bounds here would be significantly desirable. But here we go, the next passcode in the sequence. I've also tried exploring for out of bounds here. Not that you can even get really out of bounds. Not that you could even get here in chapter 4, but it's just like I tried everything for this part of the game. I really did try quite hard. And there we go, we got all the ones in Valverde Ruins, and I think the only one left is the one in Damper Rock Ruins. Unless I'm remembering wrong, there's just one more passcode that we need to get, so this is really not so bad. I don't know what the time for the, like, how long the video is, because I've split it into different segments at this point, but I think we're doing pretty well for it. Are there seriously none in Crankbelt Kingdom? I can't mind any. Like, I can't think of what ones there would be. But surely there is some. Yeah, I don't know. I seriously don't know. Well, whatever. We're gonna go to the entrance. Are there any in Crankbelt? It feels like there's not. Ancient Temple Under the Sand. Comment down below if you think there's a passcode in Crankbelt Kingdom. I feel like I would remember if there was. It'd be kind of embarrassing if I don't remember where all the passcodes are. But this is the part of the game that I wasn't able to do as a kid. I did not know where to look for all of these passcodes. When I came back to the game as an adult, I don't remember struggling with it the first time I played this before speedrunning it. So I was probably just a stupid kid. Who didn't look around enough. I don't know. I'm trying to dodge this thing. I feel like the enemies have gotten stronger since the last time I was here. Hint, that's because they have. They have indeed gotten stronger. But yeah, there's a boss fight over here in a slightly hidden area. But it's kind of interesting because you could definitely... Yeah, because now I'm thinking about it, right? So this is the hidden area, and the place you have to go is up here. You could definitely at least make it faster by moon jumping into this room. Like, even if you can't... But you could skip this room. And this room's really irritating, friends. Because these guys have, like, infinite health. I don't know where they get it all from. But these guys have, like, infinite health. You know, I had to use an entire samurai hover on that guy. But yeah, if you land on this thing... Pretty sure that makes it easier to hit the top of that. Oh, I might be able to do it anyway. Okay, never mind. Never mind. See, when you're being chased by the enemies, it's a bit more pressure. But yeah, you just need to press these nails down, and then you get the special reward of fighting Taji again. But it is kind of cool because you get to see the final form of his little griffin guy. So I do think it's cool, but honestly, I think it's a boss fight that I never saw as a kid. I don't think I ever figured out how to get here. But if we could do this early, like during the first, you know, time we visit Damper Rock Ruins, would that be fast? I don't know. I'm like trying to reroute the speedrun in my head right now, but I just don't have numbers. I truly do not know how beneficial it could be. Okay, can I hit this from just like here? I feel like I can. Yeah, you can. You don't even need the box. You're supposed to stand on that box to be able to hit them from higher up, but you don't even need it. Look at that. We got them all moving. When I used to speedrun this game, I used to do this part entirely without killing the enemies, but I am not that good anymore, so didn't want to try it. But yeah, I feel like we could definitely, you know, jump into this room and that would be beneficial. I mean, I've definitely done it before. So you're supposed to spin around these bubbles. Supposed to spin around those bubbles, and then he does something. You're supposed to bait like a stomp, yeah. Is this not that? Need to be closer than that. Why is he not stomping? Do I need to get the bubbles and then make him do the stomp? I assume that's what I need to do. I truly do not remember. No stomp? Okay, he's just waiting around. Let's hit him in the back. Bosh. When he starts running, no, he's still invincible for all of this. Guess I'll just bait the bubbles again? Okay, that was not bubbles. Clearly I've completely forgotten these patterns. That's the stomp I was talking about. Well, it doesn't seem very good if you get hit by it. Or even if you don't. If you don't get hit by it, you still don't have time to hit him. Weird. I guess we just want to bait the bubbles every time. What is he doing? Why did he spin around? This guy's awesome. Can I jump over the bubbles? Yes, actually. That put me to... I mean, I took damage, but that actually put me towards him. Like, the bubbles hit me closer to him. That's very interesting to me. I'm very interested in that phenomenon. And as he runs away, I can hit a samurai hover. I'm kind of figuring out these boss fights again, but also not really. I feel very lost at a lot of them. Like, these boss fights are not easy to do, and like, I used to speedrun the game, so I have some idea of like how to approach them. But imagine you didn't. It would be not very easy to figure this stuff out, right? Also, these bubbles look dumb. I know I said I like them, but they look dumb. Samurai hover. Straight slash. Yeah, this is a long boss fight. I think anything I could do to speed this up, like if there is a way to like skip it using disc tray abuse. I don't think there is, because if you skip into the room that has the tablet in it, then you can't get out because the door won't be open. Unless collecting this tablet sends you back to the lab, which I don't think it does. But that would be big. If this sends us to the lab, that's big. That's how you know it's big. Just for the record. Ah! Why is he chasing me? What the hell? He changed direction just to hit me. I mean, it's what you would expect a boss to do. But I didn't think that was something he knew how to do. This Taji guy, he's dumb. He doesn't know how to change direction to hit his opponent. There we go. Samurai hover, straight slash. And that kills. Let's go. So yeah, if I didn't beat him, I would end up in this room with the door locked, and I would pick this up. Does it send me back to the lab? It does. Okay, so you could skip that fight entirely, I think. That's the next big innovation in the speedrun. And you could do it right at the start. You wouldn't have to do it As far as I know, there's no reason you have to do it during Chapter 8. Huh. See, now I want to come back and speedrun this game. Hey, that's good. Playing through the game has made me want to play it more, and this is a good thing for the speedrunning community. All of you out there, I remember all of you.
Oh my. Good work.
Okay, let's buy some upgrades. I got 6,000 more G, so it's not a lot.
Is this okay?
I want the charge
Is this
capsule
okay?
so that I can use Samurai Hover more than once in a row. And I want the
Is this okay?
revive potion
Is this okay?
so that if I die, I'm good.
What do you need? What can I do?
I like how you have to buy the time attack mode. That's so funny to me. I mean, if you collect all the rare treasures, you have more than enough money to buy everything, but it's still funny to me that, like, you have to buy time attack. You have to buy time attack, and then, like, time attack, I think, gives you money as a reward as well. But it's like, you've already bought basically everything. Whatever. The final boss was underneath Valvair Ruins all along. Well, if you're wondering... if that means, oh, can you just clip out of Bound in Valvair Ruins and go straight to Chapter 9? The answer's no. And even if you could, you would still have to unlock all the things. So at best, it would just be a Chapter 8 skip, which is still pretty fast. Actually, you might be able to skip more than that. If that was, but it's not possible, because even though it's canonically underneath Valvair Ruins, there's nothing actually underneath Valvair Ruins, unless there is. Wouldn't it be a kind of wouldn't it be a kind of exciting discovery that Master Gear Core was actually underneath, or like just loaded in memory somewhere in Valvair Ruins the whole time? The being which stalks the Star Core. This game's so cool. Like, that is an absolutely badass title. I don't care what anybody says. Yeah, we don't want to look at that. Gotta wait for it to turn. I looked at it, but it only hits you, so that... Ow. That's fine. I was right. If you don't have enough Tokobot, you fall faster. Did you see how fast I fell there? It was terrible. But yeah, Master Gear Core. This is the final level. It feels kind of surreal being here again. It's been so long since I've played this game. But yeah, this is the other level other than Chapter 4 where an Out of Bounds would be absolutely game-breaking. Because... I mean, no matter how early it was, no matter how early it is in the level, doesn't even matter. If there was, I don't understand why I'm getting hit. I'm not turning around. I'm not turning! Oh, is it only if you're moving? Is that what it is? It checks if you're moving, not if you're... I think I just got it wrong. I think that one checks if you're moving, not if you're, not if you're looking at it. Mad that I forgot that, by the way. Yeah, if you could skip any part of this, if you could get out of bounds in it, you'd be able to skip the final boss, which feels pretty significant to me. Assuming the unload and deload strategy works on the final boss, which it works on every other boss we've seen so far, so I don't see why it wouldn't. That would be a pretty amazing thing to discover. Obviously not going to happen, but and when I say it's obvious that this room is not going to have a skip in it, it's mainly, oh my goodness, it's mainly just because there's no interesting geometry. It's all right angles. I don't see where we would be able to leverage a skip at all. I am really struggling out here. But yeah, there's just like, I mean, the main ways that you find skips in games is like weird geometry or like exploiting certain bugs. There's no bugs that you can exploit in this level, and There's no, like, weird geometry. You can't do DTA in any of the rooms. Trust me, I tried every room. Well, I didn't try the rooms where it's obviously not possible because, you know, that's a waste of my time. I can't believe it. I can't believe I can't do the first room of the final level. This is kind of surprising. But yeah, I do remember trying to find an out of bounds in this room. Not in this room, in this level for a very long time because there is one bit of weird geometry. One bit of weird geometry that we thought maybe this will be the thing that we can leverage to get out of bounds in this level. And you can't. You can't. I'll show you what it is when we get to it, but just a spoiler. I can't believe... What am I doing wrong? Like... What am I doing wrong here? And if I can't do it, how are the kids meant to do it? This is a kids game! That's the part that's most fucked up. It's not the fact that I'm failing. I'm resilient. Imagine you got to this point as a kid, you'd just be like, I can't do it. I can't do it. That's what you'd be saying. Wait for the eye to move. Jump. I seriously, and I mean this when I say it, don't know what I'm doing wrong. It's like it's too far away for me to grab. And I don't think I'm waiting too long on the platform that moves down. I mean, maybe I am. Maybe I just need to go faster. I don't know. But I obviously can't jump there. Okay, I got it. That was tough. That was a good, like, 5 minutes of me not making that jump. But there's not that much platforming in this final level. It's mostly a boss rush. This is the boss rush that I was talking about before, by the way. Well, first of all, I think there's some weird geometry in this part of the level. There's the earthquakes. I do think there is some in this part with this wall specifically here. I think there's some weird geometry, but I don't think you can do much with it. But if I'm not remembering wrong, you can get some kind of weirdness. But I mean, I'm not seeing anything immediately, but that's just what I remember, is that there's some weirdness there. But that's not the part I was talking about. It might be here. It might be here. I mean, honestly, it doesn't seem like there's anything. I could just be misremembering. But there is a particular part in another level where... Or not another level, but another room of this level where... you can clip into some geometry, but it's the same thing I showed you earlier with the Oh yeah, we skipped this boss. I completely forgot about this guy. Yeah, same thing I showed you earlier in Crankbelt Kingdom with the little bit of ground that you could yeah, that didn't do anything, okay. Oh, I wanted to make sure. The little bit of ground that you're able to clip through, but it doesn't, like, do anything in particular. That is also present in this level, and it also doesn't help you clip through the wall in this level. So, not terribly surprised that what doesn't work in one level also doesn't work in this level. But it is a shame because as much as I think, like, having the final boss fight is like a good conclusion to the run, like, I want the final boss to be in the run, it would be a massive time save. potentially the biggest, depending on where in this level you would manage to clip out. It would potentially be the biggest skip in the run, which is exciting. Or if not the biggest skip in the run, the biggest skip that hasn't been discovered yet. Because everything else seems pretty required. Like, you're not going to be able to skip to Chapter 9 without doing the ones before it. That's just not how the game is structured. So I do think that most likely a skip in Chapter 9 would be the biggest skip in Tokobot, but we don't know because such a thing does not exist. But yeah, what's this room? It'll be another puzzle kind of platforming level, I assume. No, it's another boss fight. Just getting right into it. Let's do it. And you can see the lag is really affecting this chapter quite bad here. We get to damage the thing. Back to back. We're gonna get another bomb. I saw a thread on Twitter that was talking about how the soap shoes in Sonic Adventure 2 were such a good promotion. And everyone in the Twitter thread was saying, actually no, it's a bad promotion because I didn't even know soap shoes were a real thing. I thought that's just what Sonic's shoes were in that game. Which I think is really funny because I did know soap shoes were a real thing. But also, Sonic Adventure 2 came out before I was born. Didn't it? When did SA2 come out? Why is 2001? Yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 came out before I was born. So even though I know that soap shoes are a thing or were a thing, I mean, it obviously wouldn't be marketed towards me on account of the fact that I didn't exist. There's Arya. She's telling us to stop the Master Core. Well, I sure will, Arya. I'm good for it. I'm good for that. Is this the level? This is potentially the room, yeah. So in this room, you have this like elevation change, and you see this? You can kind of like you kind of clip into the side of this a little bit. This was like our biggest lead for a skip in this level, and it seems like a dead end. I don't think it's possible. But this truly was our biggest lead on the subject. And it really sucks that this is our biggest lead, because it is absolutely nothing. But yeah, it's just the fact that it's kind of buggy when you fall down there was like, oh, I wonder if I can, you know, if I can make that. But I had to remember this for the speedrun, and now actually, you don't need to really remember it. Because you can tell by jointing whether or not you're standing on, or like, whether or not there's something ahead of you. I mean, I still managed to mess it up there, but I guess if I do this, then I can tell. Boom. Easy. But yeah, I mean, even if we could clip out of bounds in this part of the level, this is like halfway through the Chapter 9 level, but it would still be like pretty dramatic of a skip. Unfortunately, doesn't exist. Now we need to fight this thing again, so let's try hit it early. Booyah. Oh, I did it! I did it! There's a fast cycle for this boss. I truly do believe that you could like, you know, absolutely destroy this thing by hitting it like repeatedly over and over. Because I hit it and I got my entire Samurai Hover back, right? So all I need to do is like loop Samurai Hover, hit it, and then Samurai Hover, and I could beat it in one cycle. One cycling this boss would be kind of amazing though. Unfortunately, I don't have save states or anything, so there's no way for me to like repeatedly try that. But like even just as a one-off that I don't necessarily do in runs, I think that would be such a cool thing to be able to do. I did it too early, that's not gonna hit. Oh, it did hit. But I didn't get the other one. Oh, there's such a way to do it. There is so a way to do it. Oh, I hit it in mid-motion. I need to practice that more. You can do that boss so much faster than I'm doing it. That could be a huge time save on the run. Oh, there is a pattern for this. Well, it's not that. It's not that. It's right, left, middle. Right? Well, that's part of it, but that's still not enough. Am I just supposed to brute force this? Right, left, middle, left, right. Okay. Right. Wait, what? Am I stupid? Oh, it doesn't send me back to the next part. Okay, I thought it sent me back to like the beginning of the sequence. So it's right, left, middle, right. No, right, left, middle, left, right. Who designed these puzzles? Look, you can see some feet in the wall. And like a rhombus looking thing. I mean, it's not a rhombus because it's a 3D object. Maybe it's a rhomboid. I don't really know what you would call that shape. It's like a rectangular-based prism that, like, diagonally scales in to a smaller rectangle base. It's like a pyramid with the top chopped off, so it's a rectangle. We have this guy again. Let's see if I can do this without mistakes. The answer is no. And this whole boss fight's a mistake, let's be honest. And now we're on the second cycle. I'm gonna go the way he goes. Since I have Samurai Hover, I think I can hit him. Even if he runs away. Nope, I missed. You can hit him before he gets to you. I'm like fairly certain. Or before he runs, like as he's running away, it is possible to hit him. I'm fairly certain of that on account of the fact that I think I've done it before. I pressed R2. I did press R2. Samurai Hover did not come out. Well, there we go. I hit Samurai Hover right as I was about to fall off there. Why did that miss? Okay. Apparently. I'm just supposed to accept that, I think. This level, I'm pretty sure, is slightly different from the arena of the first one. It's got bigger gaps between the those things. Spikes are coming. I'm good. Hello. Ooh yeah. Oh, I really wanted to hit him with a Samurai Hover there. Whatever. I gotta respect his health bar, you know? I can't do too much damage in one cycle. That would be disrespecting the video gaminess of the video game. You know, you'd think, considering he's controlling it, he would figure out not to drive into the bombs. Like, if it was acting autonomously, that would be one thing, but there's a guy controlling this. His name's Fuel. The names in this game are kind of weird. A character called Fuel. Bolt's called Bolt, obviously. That's weird. There's Ruby, which is actually not an unusual name, but I feel like it's for unusual reasons. There's Old Man Canewood, which I would believe Canewood as a name, sure. I mean, Taji means earth. In Japanese, Bolt's name is Nut. Which you can see why it's Nut and Bolt. But you can also see why they would have changed that for the English localization. It's not hard to picture why maybe Nut was not chosen as the name of the main character. There we go, we beat that boss fight. Not much trouble, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, that's the last of the boss rush before the final boss. I mean, that would explain why there's a save area here. But I feel like I'm wrong. But if I am wrong, I don't know... I don't know why I'm wrong. So, let's just see. Let's just wait and see. I'm not wrong, this is where the boss fight is. It's not in this room, but it's, even if there was an out of bounds in this room, it would save an incredible amount of time because you would skip the boss fight entirely. But yeah, this is where the boss fight is. It has been a fantastic time making this video, and let's kick some robot butt. How about it? I think it's so cool. This whole like level takes place in basically the core of this world. And it's just like, yeah, we're hanging out here, destroying some robots. You know, melting some metal, I guess you could say. That was cringe. So this is like a souped up version of a worker robot. The workers are the robots that are made by people, not like, well, they're all made by people, but the workers are the robots made by like today's people. This is like a souped up version of it. This guy goes absolutely malicious. He goes absolutely malicious on the sticks. On account of the fact that he is evil and he is basically trying to destroy the world. I mean, not literally, because I'm pretty sure all he wants is to control the world, which is bad. But I mean, even if he controls the world, at least like the whole world isn't gonna, you know, be destroyed. But he will destroy the world. He just doesn't think that's what's gonna happen. Which is, you know, we've seen that with villains in the past where, you know, they are evil, but they're not as evil as what the people who are kind of manipulating them to be are. Actually, it kind of reminds me of in Phineas and Ferb, where they had the like alternate dimension Doofenshmirtz, who was like an evil Doofenshmirtz, and it's like, but Doofenshmirtz is already evil. We just had this like evil version of him, or maybe he wasn't an eviler version, and I just like thought he was because he had an eye patch. That's also possible. But yeah, this is the final boss. His name's Zero, and he charges up this laser, and then we do this, and I missed the shot. We have to manipulate him into hitting the shields, and you can get him to hit 2 at once. It is possible, but I didn't get it there. But I like jumping into the shield repeatedly because although it does knock back and gives you invincibility, you don't actually take any damage from it. Although it's not really helping now because the lasers are missing. There we go. And now we get to hit these orbs, and this is basically how the whole fight's gonna go. We're gonna hit some orbs. This part's kind of awkward because of the way that they move. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I always found this part really difficult. And there were like some really bad splits I had where I just could not hit them for ages. Kind of like what you're seeing now. So there's one. There's one, that's pretty good. Ouch. I don't agree that that laser hit me, but I don't get to decide, so whatever. But yeah, the entire rest of the boss fight is we do this, basically. You can samurai hover in order to get your Tokobots closer to you, which genuinely is a time save. I don't mind doing it. Because it takes so long for the Tokobots to get off of their arses once they've fallen over that summoning Samurai Hover just to get them all in one place is kind of worth it a significant amount of the time. And now the awkward part happens where he starts hitting rocks down at you. And this wouldn't be so bad if not for the fact that the rocks can hit the Tokobot. I really don't mind that Bolt can get hit by them. I can dodge. But getting all of my Tokobot to dodge as well, kind of awkward. I mean, apparently I can't dodge because I am getting hit. Okay. Just one more. I really don't want to take another damage, so I'm going to go get this ham, I guess. Steak. I mean, Bolt canonically eats meat. I like to think that, you know, Bolt would be a vegetarian, but he does canonically eat meat. But I don't know, being a treasure master just seems like such hippie business, right? Like, it just seems like, you know, exploring archaeological sites and stuff. That's something that, like, a hipster does, or like a kind of, I don't know, a woke feller would do. But, oh my goodness, there's the game. We beat Zero, which is actually kind of a tragic ending. He didn't mean any bad, I'm sure.
After all, the world was just saved.
No, not exactly.
Not exactly. The world wasn't quite saved. And then we have the credits, which we get to enjoy together. So I will, I'll leave it on that note. I almost... Oh, no! I put my controller on top... Oh, we're back, we're back. Okay. I thought it was... Okay. I put my controller on top of the PS2 and it slid off, and I think that caused a disc read to, like, mess up. But we're good now, we're good now. So I'm going to leave it on that note. Thank you all for watching, and enjoy the...
That surface dweller, Fuel? He didn't really amount to much, did he?
didn't really expect a lot out of him to begin with. I just wanted to teach old man Canewood that it's about time we get started.